Earthlings, wisdom keepers, wisdom seekers. Welcome back to Wizdom Dropz. Yo, so it's for daily drops of wisdom, a savvy kind of astrology. My name is Tanya, and today we are discussing the fact that there's a Leo new moon coming up, y'all, opposing Saturn in Aquarius. So Saturn, the ruler of Aquarius, is opposing the sun, the ruler of Leo, where the new moon itself is happening. In other words, the two rulers of the primary energies of the same axis are opposing each other. And this is a big deal because the new beginning that's being seeded this coming August, right, of 2021 is going to be potent, and it's going to be discussing a lot of really kind of archetypal classic narratives between God and Christ and Lucifer and Satan. And this is because we have a Sun-Saturn dynamic, of course. So today's video, we're going deep, y'all. And this is stuff that scratches the surface of what Wizdom Dropz Astrology School is, which happens every single Sunday. And I'm enrolling for one final week. And this is a 6-month program. So if you are meant to be on the ship, all aboard. Link to enroll thyself is down below. We'll have a Zoom session and talk about your goals, what my program provides, such as recordings, PowerPoints, learning objectives accomplished each and every time, personalized education, ongoing mentorship, and so much more. Now, moving forward, this is for real ones. So this is another one of them real ones drops. We is going deep today. Why? Because Saturn is so profound. When you really start getting into the astrology of it all, Saturn is like so profound. And so I want us to make sure that we come together today to recognize what it is that Saturn offers us at a higher level. Because a lot of astrologers out there are going to be talking to y'all about, oh, Saturn is it's our own challenge, our own demon, our own like evil, whatever, and it's the end all be all to like everything that it ever is going to exist that is good. And then a lot of other astrologers are like, it's the best thing in the world, and it's all cherry sunshine and pie and daisies. And then some astrologers like myself are middle of the road, so to speak, with this topic, and we recognize both. And I think that's where you need to be in your astrological interpretation of this. So today, y'all, we're going deep into this concept. By the way, like this video if it brings you any value whatsoever, because it's a great way to support this channel and the content that you're getting. And I appreciate it, and it helps our community expand. So there's that. But, I also wanted to say to y'all today that Saturn is your shadow. And I want to make sure that you understand that about Saturn. Saturn is where you will find yourself kind of putting yourself in precarious situations that don't serve you because you have some tendencies or patterns that are childlike, that are not mature yet, that are things you have yet to kinks, let's say, you have yet to work out. So with this general theme, you're going to see that Saturn, this energy of maturity and the need to be adult-like and know when to say no and know when to sever and know when to hold a boundary, right? These sorts of things are highlighted right now, and you're going to see more and more of them coming into your awareness over the next month. And so the sun is illuminating this topic because the sun is in, of course, its own dignity, its own state, its own God, its own place. Leo, the sign of Leo. Leo is ruled by the sun. In other words, y'all know this, right? So the idea is that the sun is strong, and the sun is able to do what the sun needs to do, which is to shed and purify and eliminate and detoxify, the satanic forces. And I think this is very real and attributable to our current societal place that we find ourselves in, because if you really want to go deep into what Saturn and Aquarius is, it's systems, structures, governments, organizations, institutions, bureaucratic establishments that have long-term kind of implications and reigns, if you will, or rulerships, periods of influence and determination and legislative power, etc. So I think that what y'all need to be aware of and up on is that Saturn is opposing the sun, and at a most rudimentary basic thing, Saturn is law and government and systems and structures, and it's also the shadow of the sun. And this is where we're getting to the real ones category. And I only start talking about this deep stuff so far on in the video for a variety of reasons. Part of it is because not everybody needs to know this, and if you're still sticking around, you probably maybe need to be up on this kind of knowledge, you know what I'm saying? Because if you resonate, then you resonate, and that's all there is to it. And before I get into this, I need to remind y'all, Wizdom Dropz Astrology School is sailing off into the ocean, baby. We just talked about Neptune this past week. Pretty groovy, if I do say so. We had fun. All the facets, right? But you know, spiritualizing, spiritual learning, this is what Wizdom Dropz Astrology School is about. It's a program for you as an astrologer if you want to become a technician of astrology, if you want to have the craftspersonship to understand a natal chart, to dissect a natal chart, to understand what a birth chart is, what a horoscope is, what a chart for any given day that you pull a chart for is. That is something I teach you. You have the skill sets, no previous mastery of any sort needed. It's great to have some foundational familiarity with the fact that there's signs in astrology, and we can really build you up from that point, right? So link to enroll yourself is down below. Many range of astrologers in the room currently. Amazing people in this container, y'all. Truly a benevolent experience. And we have 5 more months at this point of this program. This is the last week I'm going to enroll you. You'll get recordings, PowerPoints, one-on-one coaching, 2 1-hour live sessions together, and a lot more. So link is down below. Now, let's get into this real talk. The Saturn is the shadow of the sun. Check it out. Check it out. Saturn is literally the shadow of the sun and also the moon in ancient astrology, in astrology, period. Now, what am I talking about? This is deep, y'all. There's 2 planets in astrology called luminaries. You understand? That's, of course, the sun and the moon because they reflect light. They either are light or they reflect light. The sun is constant light. It's a star, right? It burns bright 24/7 hours a day. It just depends on our perspective on Earth as to whether or not it looks light. Now, the moon, on the flip side of that, reflects that sun. You know what I'm saying? It's always a reflection. It's a mirror. That's why the moon is associated with the one's subconscious, the collective subconscious, because the moon is associated with reflections of light and subconscious or conscious energy. They always work in a dyad, if you will. The nighttime reflections of dreams are illusionary just as much as they are reflections that give us insight that we otherwise wouldn't be able to see under the brightness of day. We almost needed the veil of an illusion, right? Now, I just went deep onto the sun and the moon there because I don't even know why. Just the energy was like there, and I was like, I need to speak on it. I need to speak to it, honey. It's like we're at astrological church, you know. That's how we roll around here. That's how we roll around here. Like this video if it brings you any value. Now, with that said, Saturn, okay, is the shadow of both of these. Saturn is the exact opposite of the sun and the moon. You just saw right there how I broke down for you, right? The sun is this wisdom, the moon is this wisdom. Now check it out. Saturn is like, fuck y'all. Pardon my French. I'm sorry that was so vulgar, but like, that's what it is. It's antithetical. That's why Saturn, aka Satan, it's not that far of a leap, you understand, is viewed as an antichrist figure in any kind of mythology, archetypal reference, whatever, because Saturn, okay, is literally opposing the luminaries. It rules Capricorn and Aquarius, aka the goat Capricorn, the sea goat Capricorn, and Aquarius, the water bearer. And these have to do with their astrological constellations and those, you know, corresponding you know, signs and what they mean. But let me tell you that what they mean at the end of the day, y'all, it's a shadow of heaven, or it's a shadow of the divine. It's a shadow of that. And a shadow, I did a deep dive on this the other day, y'all. 27-minute video. It was like 2 days ago. Check it out on my page. And, you know, it talked about a lot of this stuff regarding Jupiter, just so much going on with the Piscean and Aquarius energy that Jupiter has been visiting in recent times, right? And just our astrological weather and so forth. So anyway, I want to get back to track though on this and talk about, the idea that Saturn is the shadow. So under this influence, what can you tangibly do? Because we're not just about the headiness of it all, we're about the tangible application of it all around here, because tangible application is what makes astrology valuable. If you just use astrology to sit around and like circle jerk your brain all day, you're not doing astrology in the way that astrology is meant to be applied for the highest and greatest good, in my understanding and comprehension of what it is as a historical, act that's at least 4,000 years old on record, documented under the most conservative of historical references. That run on is finished, baby. Moving forward, what does it mean? It means that what you can do for the next month, right? Own your shadow, acknowledge your shadow, lean into your shadow, analyze it, address it. Venus is in Virgo. This is diagnostic vibes. This is like, let's get down to the bottom of it. Let's see all these details. Let's go through every little piece of this and understand how it works as a larger whole. Why as a larger whole? Because Jupiter just retrograded back into the sign of Aquarius, as you probably know, because I just did a video on it. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, poke, poke. Tickle, tickle, tickle. But for real, it's like this idea that Jupiter, the expansiveness, the knowledge, the philosophical, whatever, whatever, just retrograded back into Aquarius, the sign of the times, the sign of the people, the sign of the commoner, the sign of the collective, the sign of us as a world, as a global community, right? This is telling y'all it's time to readdress and refigure out our philosophical presentations in our own communities and our own networks as it relates to our societal structures and how we organize ourselves. So, in other words, how do your belief systems translate to how you do? That's the simplest way I can put it to you. How do your belief systems translate to how you do? What do you do, and how is it reflected in your belief systems? It's time for you to co-participate, co-create what is a new societal norm. Jupiter is again retrograde, rewind, got to revise, re-edit, reassess into Aquarius, where Saturn is currently under the lunation of the new moon, the Leo new moon, August new moon, y'all, nasal, is for real. It's for real influential because Jupiter is with Saturn, the same sign that we saw the great conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn at a much earlier degree. Mind you, where we just saw the Aquarius um, full moon, that was divine at the very early degree of Aquarius there. This is the same point that we're seeing revisited. It's an echo. It's a ripple in an ocean. You know how water moves through a puddle? You know how water moves through a lake? If you do something big and drop a big old boulder in that lake, if you drop like, a penny in a pond or something, there's going to be a ripple. You understand? This is the ripple effect of what happened December 2020, late December 2020. I've done so many videos on this. The Great Conjunction, check it out. It's a totally comprehensive view on the precession of the equinoxes. WizdomDropz Astrology School is enrolling for one more week, and I'm not accepting new clients for at least 6 more months. So if you're meant to be there, the link to enroll yourself is down below. People who are vibing on this level right now, you're meant to take your astrological knowledge further, even if it's not with me. But let's be real. If you're tuning into my stuff and you're 30 minutes in, whatever I'm in at this point on this video, and you're vibing with this shit, think about how you can actually advance yourself with me over 6 months of live interactive coaching and one-on-one support. Realistically speaking, it's a steal, and I'm not going to go any cheaper, and it's going to go more in the future. It'll be more expensive. So there you go. There's that for your knowledge. Now, with that said, this is going to be a positive energy to assess how are you aligning your beliefs, your truth, your value, because Saturn is also just as much as it is like Lucifer and the opposing of light, right? The shadow of light. It's the real deal. It's the need to be amidst the joy that is divinity, right? Divinity is so often almost conflated with this idea of ecstatic, uh, orgasmic kind of ecstasy, right? That is divinity. It is a synonym. It's a conflation. But let's be real. There are times in this life where you feel disconnected from source at certain levels and or you have to be an adult and put on your adult pants and be a tough judge and be kind of an ass, or put up a boundary, not necessarily be an ass, but just detach and sever. And it's kind of like this bitter side of life, right? And we just all have it in our own time, in its own place. And it's a danger when we get caught in that energy. But generally speaking, like, that energy has a place and it is needed to some extent. You understand? So it's like there's this adult, like, serious, like, it doesn't feel divine. And ultimately it is, because everything is divine. Duh. Like, once you understand it, it's like, duh, you know? However, like, just vibe with that for a moment, that, like, Saturn is the death, and Saturn is the endings, and Saturn is the severance, and Saturn is that hard, like, damn, life just changed because there was an ending, yo. Like, that real deal. Like, somebody just died, man. Like, that shit. Like, it, that's real deal. Like, Saturn. So just understand, for the next 30 days, your own divinity, your own spirit, Sun in Leo, Mercury in Leo, your own Christ-like energy, your own divine, like, this little light of mine, that kind of vibe. Like, you got that little, like, energy within yourself, right? That's your Leonine. Your Leonine, is that a word? It is now. Check it. Your own Leo vibe energy, your own lioness, your own lion within, that's your vibe, your aura, your spirit, your spunk. And at the same time, that's your vibe the next 30 days. You also got the contraire. You got the flip side of that. All this stuff I've been talking about, the satanic energy, the energy of detachment that is too much sometimes, and also what needs to be severed, the malicious governmental and so forth influences, technocratic empire influences you see infiltrating many forms of society right now. You need to be aware of that energy and know when it's time to say no. Know when it's time to sever thy connection to forces that do not serve. Saturn in Aquarius. Understand how you want to restructure yourself in alignment with your philosophical insights and wisdom. Jupiter and Saturn conjunct Aquarius, as spoken of earlier. You understand? This is what's happening right now, y'all. This is real times. I'm trying to put you up all on this information. I'm thankful to those of you who receive it. This is the divine awakening of the age of Aquarius. This is astrological insight that is of a spiritual vibration. Wizdom Dropz Astrology School, enrolling for one more and final week. Link to do so down below. Like this video if it brought you any value. Thank you to everybody who supports this channel. To all of my students, you're so groovy, and I'm excited for Sunday. And with that said, through next time, until next time, may the stars be with you. Peace.